Hi everyone, I hope you're all staying safe and sound, and today I decided to show you a skill that is considered essential for most girls, and I learned this skill from my mother and I'm ready to show it to you today. So for today I will be showing you something that's called a negative space embroidery, and over here I have a piece of work that my mother made for me. And I'm using this to tell you what negative space embroidery is. So as you can see here, the image, which in this case is my name, has not been filled. We don't fill that with embroidery, but we fill the space around it. So as you proceed in your embroidery, your image will start to appear. And I really like this piece of embroidery because it's negative space embroidery, and that's why I specifically chose this to show you today. But this specifically requires many kinds of stitches, and it requires a lot of practice and patience. So I decided to show you something much simpler, which requires just one type of stitch. It's called the French knot, and we'll start by telling you what you need. Okay, so the most important thing that you need is a hoop and a cloth to do your embroidery on. So here I have my hoop that I'll be using today. So you have hoops of many sizes. This is a big hoop, and inserted is a cloth. This is the cloth you're going to be doing your embroidery on. You have to have it tightened inside this hoop so that you can do your embroidery well. This cloth can be any material, any color, any length, but it should fit inside this hoop. And to draw your image, you need a pencil would be the best, but today, since it has to be visible to you, I'm going to be using a pen to draw my image. And since this is negative space embroidery, you can use any shape you want. Today I'm going to be drawing a cat, using a cat image to do my embroidery. You're going to place it there and you're going to draw around with this, and so you can keep your image and then you're going to fill it around. So the next important part is the thread. So I have some colorful thread here that I'll be using today. I have some other colors, but this is just a few of them for you to show you. You can use these to do your embroidery, and the next most essential part is the needle. Now this is the little thing if you'll be scared about it, but you don't have to be scared. As long as you practice, you'll get used to it. But just to be on the safe side, for now you're gonna have to keep your parents near you while you're doing the embroidery, and you're gonna be using these kind of needles. There are many sizes of needles that you can use, but since we're doing the French knot today, I'm gonna be using a thin needle. It's gonna help me to do it much quicker and easier. Okay, so now we're ready to start. Now remember earlier, I told you that it'd be rather best to use a pencil. Now, why I said that? It's best to use a pencil because in case you go wrong while you're drawing the image, you can anytime wash it off, because you can wash your pencil marks off, but when you're using a pen, it's going to be difficult. But today I'll be using a pen so that it's visible to you what I'm drawing. So you keep your image right there, and all you have to do is draw the outline, because this is negative space embroidery. Now I'm gonna draw it. Hold it firmly, because if it goes wrong, and the most important thing is I'm using a pen, and if it goes wrong, it's wrong. And we're gonna draw it like that. This can be tricky, so you have to have patience. And you can apply a little pressure onto the cloth, because otherwise your paper is going to be not in touch with the cloth. make sure you don't change the position of the cat or any image that you're going to be using, because using pen, I have to be really careful. Almost done. The tail can be a little tricky because it's a thin area and you're gonna have to hold on tight. And we're done. So now, as you can see, I have the cat on my paper. It looks a little chubbier than you can see on the paper. That's probably because the black outline is really thick. And we're done drawing. Okay, so now that we're done drawing the figure, we're gonna leave the pen aside and we're gonna pull up the pencil. So this time I'll be using a pencil as well. This is a white pencil. I'm gonna be using this to draw another margin around our figure, and this margin is going to tell me the area that I'm going to fill with my embroidery. So you might not be able to see this very clearly through the video, but I'm just going to draw it. So you're going to start from one end and you're going to have to maintain the same width all around the cat. Okay, so I'm gonna do about 3 to 4 layers of my embroidery. I'm gonna draw it all the way around this cat. Once you're done with the margin, you can start your embroidery. And so once again, I'm doing this margin so I know the area that I'm going to be filling with my embroidery. And we're done. Okay, now that we're done with the second outer margin, as you can see, if you look close, you can see that I've segmented this second margin into 8 equal parts. Now, if you're wondering why I've segmented it, because today I'm going to be doing the negative space embroidery with 8 different colors. So as you've learned in your art workshop about color mixing, this is going to be easy for you if you put a little bit of that knowledge into this. I'm going to be using 8 different colors, and I'm going to start with the red color and I'm going to probably end with the pink color. It's going to go in the spectrum, the colors of the spectrum. So it's going to be like red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, and a little purple and pink again. Okay, so like I told you before, I'll be using 8 colors, 7 colors from the spectrum plus 1 more color. So for the first segment of the cat, I'll be using these red shades, and for the second segment, I'll be using these 2 orange shades. Third segment, I'll be using this yellow along with some peach. And for the fourth segment, I'll be using these 2 green shades. Now, this thread here has a mixture of colors. I think it'll look nice on our cat, and that's why I decided to use it. This is my blue shade, and I really like this. This is a personal favorite because it's also like a mixed one like this. And then I got the indigo. These are just a few of the blue shades that I'm going to be using. And here I've got the violet. Now I told you before that I'll be using 7 colors of the spectrum plus 1 extra color, and that extra color is pink. So I've got 3 different shades. This is like the blue and the green, it's mixed, and these are just plain ones of pink and dark and light pink. So if I've forgotten to mention earlier, you'll be needing a pair of scissors. Now remember, scissors are sharp, so you have to use them carefully. When you're ready to start, you have to use your needle and you have to insert the thread. When you insert the thread, you have to take a long piece of thread and fold it into 2 like this. So here I have 2 pieces of thread, and you're gonna tie a knot at the end of one of it, the longer side. You're gonna take the longer side and you're gonna tie a knot at the end. And why do we tie this knot? Because if we don't tie this knot, as we pull the thread through the material, it's gonna come out. So there's no point, you have to have a knot. And once you got the thread in your needle, you can start. So now we're ready to start. Before I'm gonna proceed, I'll be showing you how to do a simple French knot, because you need to know that. All you have to do is, now you can see the segments, right? My first segment is gonna be red, so I'm gonna take the thread and I'm gonna get it to come up through from behind the material. So you're gonna take a point there and you're gonna bring the needle up, pull it right through all the way until it stops by the knot. Okay, now you got it through. What you have to do is, so you have the needle, you're gonna take it like this. I'm just gonna show it. And you're gonna take a needle. Now you can see your thread has taken a loop shape. I'm gonna take my needle, gonna keep it there, and I'm gonna place my finger. Bring it beside the thread, and you're gonna place your finger there, and you're gonna roll it 1, 2, 3. 3 times. I'm gonna follow the 3-time pattern for throughout the whole cat, so it's gonna look, so all the French knots are gonna turn out to be the same size. And then once you've twisted it, you're gonna turn your needle and put it through the same hole or a little away from the hole that you first brought your needle up through. So you're gonna put it through that and you're gonna move it up and you're gonna pull your needle from behind. This is gonna create the French knot, as you can see, just like that. Okay, that is our first French knot. There we go. Now I've shown you your first French knot. So as you proceed, make sure that you don't get your needle tangled in the thread, because if that happens, you're gonna end up in a knot, and it may be hard, depending on the type of knot you end up in, it may be hard for you to untangle it. So once you've got your first knot done, I am going to be using 3 shades of red for the first segment. Now I'm not going to follow a specific pattern. Now this red, I'm going to be using each shade of red and placing knots at random places. So when you're done, you're going to be using your next red. It's your wish actually, but since even if I'm doing this, you can do it in any shade you want. You can have the whole segment in one color, or you can be free to have different colors and put your creativity to it. And once I'm done with this red, I'll be using the darker red and then the other red. Now I don't have 3 shades for every color. I mostly have 2 shades for most of the colors, and I'm going to be using it that way. So let's proceed. Okay, so now I've completed one shade of the first segment, which is red, and as you can see, I've done it from place to place because I'm expecting some other shades as well. So once you're done with the first shade, you can move on to the second shade, and I'll be using, and like I said before, it's only your wish. If you wish to do the whole thing with one color, then feel free to do it. I'm just doing it, so I'll be moving on to the next red, which is a little brighter than the one I already used, so I have to get this through the needle and get to work. Okay, so now I have finished, I've completed the red segment, as you can see. So I thought of following this pattern. So the pattern is, I decided to have French knots concentrated near the cat. Okay, so you can see that the margin near the cat, I have many French knots, and as you go further away, I have dispersed them, so they're not as close together as they're over here. So this is a good way if you want to follow this, because then you can highlight the margin of the cat by doing this. Concentrated near the cat and then disperse them slowly. Now that I've completed with the red, I'm going to be moving on to the next color of the spectrum, which is the orange, and I'll have to insert the needle, a thread into the needle, and then I have to go get started. Finally, after so many hours of patient work, I've completed my embroidery, and this is what it looks like. I'm actually really happy looking at it. I feel really proud that I've achieved something like this. So if you have time and the right equipment, you could also try this, and you could maybe send us some pictures of your progress. And not just this, today I taught you just the basic, just one stitch, which is called the French knot. If you search online and on YouTube videos, you can find all sorts of stitches, like embroidery done using all sorts of stitches, like the example I showed you in the beginning of the video. And you can find those videos and you can try them. So I hope to come back to you with another lesson, and for now, bye.